Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and you are watching Chautauqua Sunrise. We've got a great show in store for you today, so grab a cup of coffee, whatever, tea, hot chocolate, pull up a chair and relax, because we have a lot to share with you and lots of interesting facts that you're going to learn about in just a little bit about Chautauqua County history. Okay? Groundhog's Day is come and gone. Was it a big surprise that spring's just around the corner? I think it's more like March weather. I don't know about you guys. I've seen 2 dead skunks, and according to Ripley folklore, if you see a skunk or a dead skunk, doesn't matter, live or dead, spring is here. I mean, so I might as well proclaim it here on the show. Spring is here. It's been a wonderful, really, winter, and hopefully it'll just continue as it has been, other than a little bit of snow we've had. But wow, compared to last year, think about it. I think it was right around this time, it was like 30 below zero. The other day was 60 degrees above zero. That's 90 degree spread. That's a lot of degrees. So I'm really enjoying this winter. Real good stuff. Hey, I want to remind you all that are watching right now while we're live that you can call us, you can text us, you can Twitter us, you can do whatever you want to get a hold of us. If you have an announcement, something you want to share, a question. We don't get a lot of calls here, and it's available to you. You don't have to worry about your name being used or showing up on the camera. It's all anonymous. If you want to tell us who you are, that's fine. Otherwise, just call in, ask a question, make a comment, and we're happy to share it. It's for free. If your organization wants to send us a poster, we put that on the community calendar. Sometimes I bring it right up here on the show, depending on how much time we have. So we're a community service, okay? So enough said on that. We want to welcome our good friends at WRFA, Low Power to the People in Jamestown. We're being broadcast 1 o'clock on Tuesday, so good afternoon to all of you in Jamestown. We're actually Saturday morning here in Mayville, but time is no big deal when you're in the media. We just float around in virtual space. And if you ever want to see the show, you can always go to YouTube and put in Chautauqua Sunrise. And I don't even know what show this is. I think it's like 85 to 86. But all the shows, every one of them, are out there. And we have hit close to 4,700 views now since we started the show. So we're very happy the way it's been going, and because of you, we get lots of requests for people to come on the show, and we're going to have someone on just a little while later that somehow heard about the show that wanted to come on, so I said sure, so we're going to have her on later on in the show. Okay, we got some things to share with you, and then we're going to get right to our first guest today. But before we do that, here we go. Today, slide number whatever it is, number 1. Tonight at the Zebros Harbor House presents the dinner theater production of It's a Wonderful Life. I know it's usually around Christmas time, but it is a holdover show, and it's a radio show. It's a performance of A Wonderful Life, but it's set up as if it was a radio show back in the 40s. I'm part of it. I'm actually the announcer, and Uncle Billy and about 4 other voices. I kind of get confused when I'm there. I don't know who I am. But anyways, great fun. It was a sellout last week. The audience was spectacular. Got lots of nice compliments. I don't know if there's any seating left. I think it's very limited seating left, but it's $10 for the show, and then you buy your meal right down at Zebros in Barcelona. And seating starts at 6:30, and the show starts promptly at 7 o'clock, because that's when the stage manager says, go, 5, 4, 3, 2, start the thing, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And when I say crazy stuff is because it's all live sound effects, okay? You hear footsteps, there's doors closing, glass breaking, all kinds of stuff, and it's all produced right there by our sound person, so that's really a lot of fun. So that's tonight, that's all I got to say on that. There might be another show, but that's still up in the air. Okay, next, out of Ripley, Veterans of Valor, Hallmark of Heroes, okay? Quickly, what I want to tell you about that is 2 things. Is that the committee there is still looking for anyone that has served their country and been awarded one of the following awards: the Medal of Honor, Silver Star, Distinguished Flying Cross, Distinguished Service Medal, Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal, or the Purple Heart. The reason being is because there is a fundraising project going on right now to put together 2 signs that will display anyone that has one of those awards who's either lived in Ripley, born in Ripley, and their names will be put on these signs forever and ever as part of the Veterans Memorial right there in Ripley by the school. So if you're interested in donating, check it out, because they still need some funds, and they're accepting funds down at the town building. Becky Carvalho, she is the town clerk. She's accepting funds, and there's a special account set up for that at the bank. And also, if you know information about a veteran who has one of those awards that we don't know about yet over there, please let her know as well. Or if you know Bob McIntosh, give him a call. Okay, moving right along. We've got President's Day Weekend Winter Festival, okay? And I'm not exactly sure all the different events, but it's going to be next weekend, February 12th, 13, and 14 at Lakeside Park in Mayville. It's always a fun time, and I know they got all kinds of different activities set up. The castle obviously is something that they build according to the season, and I don't know what they're going to have this year as far as snow. A lot of times I guess they bring in snow or whatever, but it's always a good time, and that's coming up. And my Rotary Club will be helping with the parking. You'll see me out there about 11:30, tall hairy guy with lots of clothes on, directing traffic. And all the proceeds for parking goes to all the service clubs in our area that are participating in the parking. Okay, moving right along. If you're interested in learning more about Infinity or signing up for lessons, a new student orientation will be held on Thursday, February 18th, 5:45 p.m. through 6:15 p.m. at the Infinity Center. Now, Infinity, for those of you that are not familiar with Infinity, it's like a very, very cool organization that brings young people into the arts, music, theater, poetry, you name it. They do it over their art. And I've had a great relationship with them over the years, and many of the graduates of the program, they've gone through various years of study with them. They're going on into college and becoming musicians and writing scripts for movies and just all kinds of stuff. So they're doing some really nice things. Orientation lasts about 20 minutes and includes information about Infinity, a tour of the facility, and the scheduling of lessons. Please note that the registration fee of $20 as well as the first month's membership fees, $60, is due at the time of scheduling. Infinity Visual and Performing Arts will host also a cultural world tour day camp. It's hard to say. From Tuesday, February 16th through Friday, February 19th. Explore a different culture every day through music, art, dance, theater, language, costume, and much, much more. 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. daily, accepting students ages 5 through 12. And that's down there on 2nd Street, the old post office building. Okay, and then I have just a couple more quick things that I want to share with you. This was late coming in this week. Over at the Chautauqua Children's Safety Education Village over there in Asheville, we talk about them from time to time. The same place where they had the Town of Terror. They are presenting a women's self-defense class. Learn to defend yourself with simple techniques, regardless of strength, size, or previous training. Anyone can learn several effective self-defense techniques to ensure personal safety and to take control of otherwise compromising situations. Okay, here's the deal. It's $20. It's February 23rd from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Safety Village. It's over on Route 394 in Asheville. It's adjacent to the Hughes Educational Center, otherwise known as BOCES. They're encouraging you to wear loose, comfortable clothing and to register. I'll say this 2 times now. Call 499-8138. Again, 499-8138, and that's Women's Self-Defense Class, February 23rd, 6:30 to 8:30, $20. Okay, and finally, fellow that old good friend of mine. We grew up together since we were 8 years old. My buddy Jim Hatch up in Tonawanda, New York. I just want to do a shout out to Jim. Jim, I know you're going through some health issues. You hang in there, be strong, and as you and I talked about it, you fight it. And that's just a personal message to Jim. Okay, hang in there, buddy. Okay, let's go right to our first guest today. It's my pleasure, as always, to welcome back to the show John Paul Wolfe, the curator of the Chautauqua Historical Society. And John tells me he's got some really cool pictures and some things to share with me and you. John, good morning.
Good morning.
So, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure. I have so many interesting guests on the show. I really do. You bring a whole different perspective to the show because it's so interesting to hear about yesteryear and what was like all around us that we don't see anymore. And it's just so cool. I love this stuff.
Sometimes we see it all over again.
We see it all. That's true.
We'll see some of that.
Dig it up
today.
All right. So what you got for us today?
Well, first of all, I just want to quickly go over our events for the year. The
Absolutely.
Chautauqua County Historical Society is a county organization.
Okay.
And we have a bunch of different events. Our annual events, first of all, some people are aware, we have the Book and Paper Show, the Westfield Book and Paper Show, which is at Easton Hall. This is, I think, our 6th year for doing it, and that is on May 7th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 4, and that's dealers in postcards and books and ephemera of any kind of paper.
You know, I just saw something on the History Channel the other day about maps. Do they have maps?
And maps, oh yeah, they've got some great
very,
maps.
Very cool. And people can buy things there?
That's what it's for.
Oh, but can they just come in to look around?
Sure. Well, you have to pay $5 to come in.
That's okay.
In the room, I think there's 30 dealers.
Okay.
And they're from all over, and so you get that. The Antique Show is also, this is, I think it's our 77th Antique Show, the Westfield Antique Show. That's in July 16th and Sunday, July 17th, Saturday and Sunday at Easton Hall. It's the longest running antique show in the United States.
You tell me that every time.
I was
it's
shocked
hard to
when
believe.
I figured that out, but I
Wow.
find anybody who can prove different. We're the, when we list it, we're the longest running.
Okay, so how many folks come out, dealers do you have for something like that?
That's a smaller number because the booths are bigger, so 24. And they come from, there are no local dealers. There's one that has no shop, so they have no access other than this show. But they're from Connecticut, from Michigan, from Pennsylvania, from Rochester, Buffalo.
So this is a big deal if they're coming in from that far away.
We have one dealer who comes from Michigan. She's been there for 33 years.
Wow, that's terrific. Okay, look, again, people come in and they can look around, or is this, they buy things, or
again, it's $5 entrance fee. That's where we make our money.
Okay.
And it's $5 entrance fee, and you can just wander. You can come back both days.
Okay.
Once you
So
pay
the proceeds go to the Historical Society to do what?
restore the building, buy boxes for the archive things,
Okay.
pay the gas and electric.
All right.
all-
So this
all
is
the
this
above.
is important.
Yeah, it's all, both of those events the money goes all to
Okay.
the.
People always
historical
ask me
society.
those kinds of questions. So who's getting the money? Where's it going?
There you go.
Accountability.
And in the summer, we have our fundraiser in 9th Cavalry reenactment. That's always a big one. It's been building every year. That's in June. Saturday and Sunday, June 11th and 12th, in Moore Park, right around the McClurg Mansion. And they in camp there. They sleep there overnight. They have battles. They shoot each other and then get up and do it again. Last year we
That's
had,
the best kind.
That's the best time. Last year we had the cavalry group because of Alonzo Cushing, and they had so much fun. They're coming back, so we have that. So that's pretty exciting. And then that night, on Saturday night, is big fundraiser we have in McClurg, and that's with hors d'oeuvres and refreshments and
Outstanding music.
outstanding music. We had one scheduled, but we have to fall back on
Right.
non-outstanding music, which would be him. We'll take whatever we can get.
I haven't done it for 33 years, but I think this is
yeah.
like maybe the fifth, sixth, fourth,
at
it's
least,
been, somewhere
at
like
least.
that.
So.
It's a great fun time, and when I'm playing, so many times, all of a sudden I'll look up and there's somebody that comes walking through the room that takes up half the room because the
Because of
hoop
the
dress, there's like 5 feet wide, and then you see the cavalry soldiers coming with their swords, and of course, what's with the Confederates? They always look like they're moth-eaten, worn down, beat up.
Well, because they didn't have the
They
uniforms.
didn't do
the
so
North
good,
had,
yeah, but
there's always more Confederates at McClurg than there are our Union, because it's easier to get clothes for them, so they don't have to pay the money to get the clothes. Anyway, yeah, they're all invited free, so that it gives us a different flavor to the party.
Yeah.
They come in and they wander around, and
It's a lot of fun. You really feel like you're going back in time. McClurg has that ambience of old-timey feeling, and then you have people in their character of the Civil War, and you really get thrown into that time.
Right. It's a lot of
That's
fun.
really fun.
So those are, we have some other events too, but they're so far away in terms of date, I won't talk about those.
But you let us know. We'll talk
yeah.
about them here, okay?
The other thing is we do a series of lectures every year.
Okay.
It started out as papers that people read, and that's been going on since 1884.
Holy crow.
I know. And we've got most of them on our website. You can look at the old ones,
They
the
talk about
speeches.
So, like, whose papers? Like,
Well, whoever wrote a paper on mastodons in Chautauqua County, or you name it. There's a whole
this
list.
is like somebody's old writing that they
Right, they did it in,
so they-
in 1884.
So they
and-
reenact it sort of like.
Oh, no. They're available, but we have new series every year.
Oh, okay.
So these are the old lectures are available online. You can go to our website, and they're all there. The ones we found.
Okay.
And we have probably 200 or 300 of them.
All right. And so then what people will be hearing this year will
It's
be
brand
things that
new.
are brand new.
Brand new.
Okay.
And so I just want to go over a couple of them.
That's straighter.
There's 4 things that we're doing. The first one is in April. Our first series is always at the annual meeting. After the annual meeting, it's the Methodist Church in Westfield. It's April 16th. The talks are always free. If you want to go for lunch, that is
Is that in the
a charge.
community
In the community room.
Okay.
And the topic for that talk is the year without a summer and its impact on Chautauqua County and Western New York. In 1817, I'm bad on dates, 1816, 1817, that was the result of 2 major volcanoes exploding over in the South Pacific, and because of the impact of the dust that went across Europe, northern United States, New England, there were no crops. Trees died, people died. It was starvation. It was a nightmare. People sometimes hear about it, but you can get all the information on it. Actually, one branch of my family left Vermont because of that and ended up in Portland Prospect Station that next year because they couldn't grow the crops because it was hit heavier up there.
Wow.
We were right on the edge of it, I believe. But
So
we'll find
this-
everything we ever wanted to know.
Wow,
about
that sounds pretty darn fascinating. I guess I've never heard that story before.
Well, you
I
never
guess
heard
I gotta
anything about
go.
it? Well, you
I
better
gotta
go. So that's April 16th. The talk is, they didn't list that here. The talk is usually at 1 o'clock. Meetings in the morning, lunch is at 12:15 or something. The talk's at 1. So if you just want to do the talk, come at 1 o'clock to the Methodist Church.
Okay.
So that's our first one. The next one is in Blockville. We move all around the county with our talks because we're county.
Yeah.
So the next one is Researching the Underground Railroad by Judith Wellman. And that's at the Harmony Historical Society in Blockville. And that's August 23rd.
And Chautauqua County was part of the Underground Railroad, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the next one is in September. Well, there's two more, but the interesting one is, because you mentioned the ice castle, next November we're doing a talk and it's at the Camp Aniasa Lodge in DeWittville.
Okay.
It's in November, on November 12th, and it's the history of ice harvesting Chautauqua Lake. Brand new book that's coming out by Fletcher Ward out of Bemis, and that'll be the topic.
Fascinating. Just like I said, there's just so much cool history in this county, and I love hearing about it all. But boy.
So those are our events.
Okay.
Some of the events. We got more.
John, how long has the Historical Society been at the McClurg? Has it been always
Since
there?
1951. We moved in 1951. It's the McClurg's owned by the Village of Westfield.
Okay.
We lease it for 75 years at $1 a year.
Bargain. Sounds like a bargain.
And well, it's a real bargain, because since I've been there, I've never given the money, and I don't think anyone ever has, other than the original. Here's $1.
Yeah,
So,
it's gentleman's agreement.
yeah. So anyway, it's technical. I guess.
Cool.
Yes, we pay $1 a year. It's a legal thing.
Of course you
Yes,
do.
we do.
Of course you do.
But the County Historical Society is responsible for the electric and gas and the insurance, and we and all the repair and everything. We're responsible for that, so the village doesn't have to do that.
You guys have been doing a great job. And last time you were here, we were talking about that fish pond.
The fountain fish.
The fountain.
Yes.
I call it a fish pond.
Goldfish pond.
Goldfish pond.
With a fountain in it.
And this is a true story. It was just after the show, maybe a day or two later, and Barb and I were in town. We were having dinner, and I looked across, and I see 3 people sweating, dirty, tractor, mud everywhere. There's you, Dave Brown, and Sandy Brown, and you're in the hole. Or was Dave? No, you were down.
We were trying
You
to
were down in this hole,
dig a
trying
hole to get the wire
push this
under.
pipe way. Going like this. When he says this is a volunteer group, I said they mean it. Wow.
Yeah, that was to get the underground wire from the building out to where the pond is. And because of that, actually, if you drive by the McClurg now at night, because we were able to get that underground, we also ran a wire for a big floodlight for the building. So the whole the whole building in the front is now lit up at night.
Who decorates for Christmas there? I mean, it's outstanding. Is that the town?
Inside or the
outside?
The park is the electric department, I think.
Just wonderful driving through there.
I believe it's the electric department.
Okay. So what's the status of the fish?
Well, we're waiting for
goldfish
spring.
Garden.
Well, there will be no
It's
goldfish.
here. The skunks are dead. It's here.
Well, once we're sure that the snow is gone.
You don't depend on my prediction here. Okay.
The concrete's
All right.
finished.
Okay.
The original 1820 stone is back in place that'll hold the fountain. When the weather changes, the statue, which has been restored by Eagle Scout.
That's a little kids
little
with
kid
the,
with
the,
it,
umbre-
yep.
the umbrella.
Just like the one in Mayville, but a little different. 1868 that was made, and that'll be going out there. And then the last phase of what we have to do is Westfield Nursery is donating all the roses in the garden.
Okay, you do a ring around
it to kind of coordinate it with the Lincoln statue, and then we'll have our grand opening.
Now, I'm not a pond stalker, but I remember being there another day, and I was watching them, I think, glazing that.
It's a really neat cover that they claim is guaranteed forever.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, but it's basically a gunite swimming pool with this cover on it, and that's
very, very nice. You guys did a really nice job.
And so far, it looks fine for the winter, so we'll see. We'll see.
I can't
and
wait.
we got all the money we need. That's the other thing. We were able, because all volunteer money are donations. It's no money's coming from the village, even though it's in the village park. No money's coming from the Historical Society. It's all money coming from donations, and we raised $22,000 for that pond. It's a kind of a scary thing that it costs that much, but if you saw what they did with that part of it.
Now, we want an update. The seashells, the big conch shells. Did you ever find out where they're from or why they were there?
Maybe, yes, since I've been here. Somebody who was at the museum, a DAR person, she told me, and we've checked it out. First of all, we found 80 what we thought were conch shells buried in the dirt in the original pond.
That's what you told me, and I believed you.
They're not conch shells, though. They're some kind of spiny mollusks from New Jersey, and now it makes all sense. Those big things
comes together now.
Yeah, because
so the rest of the story, page 2.
The rest of the story is James McClurg's wife was sick in 1834-35, and they went to Cape May, New Jersey.
Okay.
For about 4 or 5 years. That's when William Seward rented the house. William Seward, as in Abraham Lincoln's William Seward, he rented the McClurg, lived there.
Seward's Folly?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
Same guy.
He was there from 1836 and 1837 until
Okay.
he became governor of New York. He was running the Chautauqua Land Company. That's why he was here.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so that's why those. So they must have picked them up in the 4 or 5 years they were down there in the 1830s, brought them back, dumped them in their pond, and then they were buried.
Mystery
into the pond.
solved.
Mystery
I've been
solved.
thinking about that. I do.
Well, now we have.
I
the
got
answer.
this. I don't know.
Eventually, you always.
Why do I
find
think
the
about this
answer.
pond all the time?
Well, I don't know. I don't recall your money coming into it.
I did donate.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I did. I even have a canceled check.
Okay, all
But
right.
$3. I don't know
Yeah,
how far we
that's
go, but I
whatever.
did donate.
Okay, so that is kind of like in my mind that whole project is now done. It's not done, but we're moving
Yeah,
on.
moving on.
Moving on.
So where are you
the
moving
new
on to?
thing.
What's
Well,
going on? You sent me a bunch of pictures. I only looked at one because it opened up, and I didn't want to look because I didn't want to know what it was about. Because you said you got some great surprises. So what's going on?
Well, we did what's called a historic structures report. We hired an architecture firm out of Buffalo.
Okay.
22,000 seems to be the magic number because that's what it costs.
Another 22,000. You guys are expensive.
I know. It took us 2 years to raise the money for that with grants and things. And that's a 200-page report that tells us what the building was.
I would have
what
done
the
for half
building
of
is.
it and twice as long of a report. I would have done that for you.
There you go. Well, anyway, it's done.
All right, so what does a structural report do?
It tells us the history of the family. It tells us the history of the building, what's important, what's not important, what we should do, what we can't do, what we've got to do immediately. And so once we got that, they were divided into categories. And the number one category, there were 5 items in there. And they said, you must do this in the next year because you've got some issues that could cause some major problems.
So who says
these
this?
architects
Okay.
out of Buffalo?
So they're telling you as an advisor, this is what you should be doing. Okay.
Yeah, so
All right. So you're going to tell this now on the air, so
so now
everybody
we'll
knows you got to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All
Well,
right.
we're in the middle of it.
Oh, all right. So
okay,
we're
so if
trying
you
to be
pop up
transparent
the
here.
first
There's no
picture,
secrets.
you'll see what's happened.
All right. So
we
first
hired
picture.
First
Okay.
picture, wherever we are. We hired. There you go. That's the stairwell, and it doesn't look like it did the last time you were there.
There's no stairs.
Well, you don't see the stairs there. The other side. That's the underside of the ceiling of the stair hall.
All right.
You're looking up at the ceiling. The problem was the balcony upstairs was sloping a great deal. And I was always concerned, and it got more slopey up there, and it's like, what has given way here? What's going to collapse? Are people going to fall down? A whole story. So we hired someone to come in and take the ceiling out, the plaster down, so we could see what was going on.
Okay.
And then we hired a structural engineer to come in and tell us what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't done that yet. Well, we've cleaned everything up, but we now have the report from the structural engineers, so now we have to go out and get bids and find out what we need to do. While we were doing, if you go to the next picture. While we were doing that, we've discovered some interesting things that have now been uncovered. Now that looks a little strange. That square board that comes down from the top and is then hooked into that horizontal board, that is the original newel post attachment for the original stairs that went up to the 3rd floor. We knew there had been a 3rd floor set of stairs, but it just gives
They're gone? They're not there now?
Oh, they were taken out in the 1870s or 1860s. But this was still hiding in there underneath, and we knew there was a square on the floor above that where that was cut off. And so that gave us more proof of that whole thing. We have more proof coming up here.
Okay.
So that's just, it's kind of, for me, it's really exciting. It's just a stick in.
Well, how do you get to
ceiling.
the 3rd floor now?
You don't. You can't get to it.
What's
There's
up there?
A room, a plastered room, but you have to go through a crawl space and then crawl through a hole in the wall of the interior. It's right over the stairwell.
Okay.
There's no access to it other than through a ladder.
So you can put a new one? You can put more stairs?
No, they won't let us do it. That's another story.
Okay, I don't want to go there then.
I don't want to go there. Okay, let's look at the next picture.
Next picture.
Next picture. So the next picture, that's what you know how the wallpaper in the 3 rooms in the center, that's the center stairwell downstairs, the center hall. While this was all going on, I stripped all the wallpaper off. The wallpaper was put on in 1950, 51. And underneath the wallpaper is that. We think that may be the original peach color, or there's an indication of a green that's up at the top there that may also be the original color. It may be a later color. We don't know.
Okay, for those of you that are listening to us on the radio, we're looking in the, what room would that be? The dining room?
No, that's the parlor, the big
parlor.
where you play every year.
Oh, that's
It's the
my
back
room?
door of the parlor. You're at the front of it, but that's the back door of the parlor.
Oh, all right. We're looking at walls that look like you've
They've been
stripped
beat
the
up.
wallpaper off,
Right.
and we see a couple different colors and Peach in the middle and green towards the top. Okay, so remnants of something. I don't know what it is.
We're still determining time frame as to when was what. But what's really neat is at the bottom there's a lighter strip there.
Yes.
And unfortunately I don't have a picture that shows the whole thing, but then there's a dark strip. That's a nailing board. I took off the wainscot that was on there. The architects and I had both determined that those boards were not original to the house. They were very poorly done, and I was hoping to find wallpaper or something underneath to indicate. And when we took it off, what we found was not expected at all. That nailing board, and then down below is the baseboard, is the original chair rail and baseboard.
Oh, they moved it down.
Well, yeah, they moved it up. The original was lower, and then they put this other cover over the top. So they took off the original boards. But we know exactly what they look like because they're still upstairs in the front bedroom upstairs. So we can.
They just recycled everything around.
Because I went upstairs when I found them and measured, and it's exactly the same to a quarter inch, exactly the same height, dimensions, everything. So
no, I do this.
That will be restored.
I do this at my house, and my wife thinks I'm crazy because I just recycle stuff. She thinks I should buy new every time. Just keep.
So that was the chair rail that's no longer there, just the nailing board, because that's a solid brick wall.
All right. So why did we take the wallpaper off to begin with?
Because it was really ugly. It was the wrong period. It was put up in 1950 and
okay,
really bad.
So
we were trying to find out what was underneath.
All right. So what is the? We don't know what the pink or green stuff is.
Well, that's peach. I hope it's not what we have.
Peach.
I haven't gotten below that yet. We have to do some scraping and some sanding and see what was.
So what's the plan for this room?
Right now, nothing. We're putting the ceiling up. All
right. I see timbers in the ceiling, right?
Yeah. Well, those are what we just saw the other view of. The first picture was the same.
Okay. Well, you know, it's not exact. I'm directionally challenged. All right.
Okay. Well,
all right,
above usually is ceiling, below is floor.
No, I mean from picture to picture. There we go. Thank you, Jeff.
Let's go to get some. Yeah, that's okay. Same room, same paper. You see, there's some little bit of paper because I don't have a ladder tall enough to reach it. So there's a little bit of paper
I understand
there
where I am. All right.
Okay. And see where it's squared off there?
Yes, I do.
That's where the stairs went to the third floor.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's not that easy here. I mean, I'm sitting looking at a monitor.
Well, maybe get some more information.
I'm going to have to come over and have a look.
That'd be nice. All of you come over and it'll make it more clear.
Okay.
And this is the only opportunity you'll see it because, you know, as soon as we get the money in the bids, it'll all be sealed up again.
Okay.
Okay, next picture.
Next picture. Okay.
No, we've seen that one.
All right, here we go.
Let's try
that's
another
you. Oh.
Okay, now this is really interesting.
Okay, can't wait.
Underneath the wallpaper, going up the stairs, and then up on the second floor.
Okay.
There are 3 different patterns. This is under the wallpaper. And that's not wallpaper, it's stamping that's directly on the plaster.
How old is that?
Well, we think 1840, maybe 1850. The pattern looks a little newer than that, like 1880, but it doesn't make sense from that point of view. So we're still trying to figure it all out. But it's not wallpaper, it's a stamp, and it's not stencils. We thought originally it was stencils, but you can't cut stencils for the way some of those patterns are. So it's stamping. It's like a linoleum print, and they stamp it on. So that's
how big were these stamps?
Well, probably each pattern had its,
okay, yeah, okay, I gotcha. They kind of build it and leave a space or whatever.
Right. So the next one, so that one we're not going to reproduce that. It's too Victorian-y looking. And it's not covering a whole area. It's just about 3 foot wide. It makes no sense why they would have had that in the middle of the stairs going up just 3 foot wide from top to bottom. And then right next to it is the next picture, which is not that, is that one. Now that's about another 3 foot wide, and this is vertical. Again, it's stamping, it's not wallpaper, and it's just a section that's there. It makes no sense as to why they would have 3 different patterns.
How would you even describe this pattern? The other one was
lacy, I don't know. It's
got like,
very Victorian and lacy.
Yeah.
And they're all reds and greens. They must have really liked reds and greens. So if you don't like red and green, don't come to the museum when we get done because it's all going to be some kind of reds and greens.
So that was what was in vogue at the time.
I guess.
Wow.
And what we knew was there but didn't know how much is if you go to the next picture.
Okay.
I think it's the next one. There. That's a much simpler, it's a close-up, but that's a much more simple pattern. It's just red on the cream color background, and then the next one I think we'll show when we get to it, we'll show some green infill. But that's the whole second floor is that. So there's a whole big consistent area, and it actually comes down the stairway up there. That's where it shows a little green painting inside some of the green. But it's all in stripes up and down with this very thin line.
Now, was this French or Italian? We have no idea.
I have no idea. It's just design on the walls.
So that was what they did in those days, is they stamped.
Well,
these.
yeah, because wallpaper was still too expensive. That's why I think it's earlier than we think it is, because McClurg's had money. Why would you pay somebody to stamp this if you could easily get wallpaper?
So it was
paint?
access,
So
not
we
cost.
think it's before they had the opportunity to do wallpaper. So we don't know. We're still working on time frame.
Wow.
We have to work on that. But now, right now, because I was going to carve the stamp, out of wood, but I thought this would take me forever just to get that part. But there are a bunch of laser companies that will do laser stamping, so we have to research that. So that's our next problem, is try to find a company and find the money to get it when we get to that point of restoring it. And then we'll leave a section of each of those patterns, hopefully in some cases hiding behind a picture, but we'll leave a section of those patterns so people can see what it really looked like and,
That
what
is
it
very
looks
cool.
like now.
Now, I know you know a lot about the various other buildings in the region here. Are there other houses that have this stamped?
No, I've never heard of anything.
So if you have a really old house, tear off the wallpaper and see if it's stamped.
There you go.
And let John know.
Let me know, please, but I've never heard of any. There's some stenciling. It's very limited in the amount of stenciling was done around here, but no stamping.
Well, and I think that the McClurg Mansion was really a building, a structure unto itself that stood head and shoulders above all the other structures in its time. There was mud huts and from things I've read. So, yeah, probably.
Because the house dates from 1820. That original stairwell is 1820, with the stairs going to the third floor. I would love to be allowed to have the. I don't know if did we have another picture? Is there another, or is it the other? I guess I didn't send that.
There it is.
Now there's a. When I stripped wallpaper, there's an angle that shows where the stairwell was in paint. So we now have proof of exactly where the stairwell went, and then it went to a landing, then it went up again, and it went 3 times around more to get up to that room in the attic.
Whoosh. Question came through.
And it was there because there was a widow's walk on the roof. And you
and that was very common in those days to have that along the lake, and they could see what's going on.
Keep in mind, even though we're a long way from the lake, there was nothing between the McClurg and the lake.
So
all the trees had been cut down. There were no buildings there. It was just wide open, so you could see all the way to Lake Erie when that house was built.
Sure, see the ships coming in. A question came into my earpiece was, and maybe you would know or not know this, but was the stamping an expensive procedure? Probably no idea.
I think it was probably cheaper than wallpaper. And from everything I've seen, at least Catherine, the daughter, she was very cheap. She did things that looked good, but if you looked beneath the surface, it was always of what I've discovered.
So would there be artisans that did this, or do you know anything about that?
Probably.
Okay.
And it might have been, instead of just a regular stamp, it might have been a roller.
I've seen those, where it's just a
But it would have to
repeating
be
pattern.
pretty big to get
one.
that pattern. But it might have been, I don't know, because I haven't been able yet to find that information.
Okay.
Still looking on that. But that's down the road a little bit.
Alrighty. So what else is going on?
Well, we have one more picture.
Oh, one more picture.
So that's the front hall. The back problem, the other problem, which has been a problem for a very long time, is the back hall. When you come in the winter, the back entrance, and those 2 posts there are what go down to the basement.
Yes.
For some insane reason, in 1951, an architect told the people they could the historical society, they could take out 2 bearing walls and put in stairs to the basement. We have these nice wide stairs to the basement, but they also took out a wall that was the pantry there. And then in the 1970s, the whole thing started collapsing, and that's why Chris Hanks and the plumber Hyde, I'm drawing a blank on his first name.
Mr. Hyde.
Mr. Hyde. Chris came in one night. He was a college student and realized when he opened the door that the whole ceiling was coming down, the whole 2nd floor. And he ran over across the street to Hyde's, and he came over. And that's why we have actually cast iron plumbing pipes holding up the ceiling. Now, that was a temporary thing that was done in 1978.
Okay.
It's a little past temporary.
Right.
So now we have the drawings. So we took the ceiling down in there, and we have the drawings from the structural engineer, and so now we're into phase 3, which is...
All right. Well, John, thanks for the update on the McClurg Mansion there and what you're doing. So do you have a kind of a time frame when this is all going to be like wrapped up?
Well, the next.
I know it's money.
I have to get the. Well, yes, we have to get first the bids. Then we have to get permission from State Historic Preservation Office for anything we do. And once we get the permission for that, then we go out and get grants and bids and things. And we have about 3 other projects that are part of this. We're going to wrap them all together into one thing. So that if we get the money, there'll be a lot going on this summer. We think we're going to have to come up with between 100 and 125,000, and that's just the start because there are many other projects, but these are the emergency ones that we have to do.
Right.
So,
well,
we'll see.
You know, and I do.
If I can get 22,000 for a pond,
piece of cake.
Yeah, and that was no grants.
But I do commend you folks to do this because I was going through a series of photographs with my dad from the city of Buffalo, and back in the 50s and 60s, it must have been the trend to knock everything down. All right, and
Look at Jamestown.
Yeah, and in Europe, they save everything. They preserve their history, and so I'm so glad that you guys are doing that. I mean, that really is so important to us to know.
It was the fad in the 60s and 70s. Urban renewal just wiped out. Well, Brooklyn Square was wiped out in Jamestown.
Well, you know, John, I promised to get you out of here, so...
You wanted to get me out of here. I understand.
No, we had this agreement. Listen to me now. He's making things up. I thank you, as always, to come on the show, and please come back again. And anything else you want us to share before you head out? Because I know you got to get over to the museum.
Yeah, because I have to be at the museum to open at 10
right.
on Saturdays in
right.
person. So, no, I think I've covered most everything I can talk about.
Okay, so we're going to go to a public service announcement. Thanks for coming by, and then we're going to get into our next guest. Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
John. All right, take care. Okay, we're going to be right back.
Hey, everybody. Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet! Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Patty, let me be honest with you. Won't filing for Social Security benefits online be confusing?
George, it's simple and easy, and you can do it in your pajamas from the comfort of your own home.
Oh my.
You've navigated through asteroid belts, right?
Oh sure, plenty of times.
Well, compared to that, navigating socialsecurity.gov is a snap.
Really?
It's so easy. Even Kirk could do it.
Star Trek, one of my all-time favorite weekly shows. Okay, we're going to move right along here. But you were watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. You just finished watching and hearing things from John Paul Wolfe, the curator at the McClurg Mansion, and I do encourage you to stop over there. It's a very cool place. Moving right along with the show, we have Michelle Swabik here from the Rural Center in Sherman, New York. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You wrote to me and said, I'd love to come on the show, if I remember right, and I said, we'll see what we can do. So we did. One of the things I talked to you earlier on is I commended you. I don't know how you did it, but you actually pulled off something that I tried to do in Ripley over the years, was just to have a community center. And just as John was talking about history and a sense of roots and community, it's so important for a community to have a place to go. And so I'm setting you up for a great conversation here. So Michelle, why did you want to come on the show? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first I'd like to say that John, we should really have some of his volunteers, or how they raise money. That is like astronomical, and that's just awesome.
Well, there's a lot of historical grants that are available, I suppose. But yeah, you keep digging.
Yeah.
But I know the county provides a lot of workshops for fundraising and things like that. In fact, I saw one with the Youth Bureau. They have one coming up.
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be going.
I know we just got started, but I got a phone call. So let's take the phone call, and then we'll be right back. Sue, I don't know what it's about. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc, and good morning, Michelle. This is Linda Spalding.
You're famous.
And I'm very interested to hear what you're going to have to say. I'm not familiar with the agency that you're the director of, but I'll find out about that as you go along with your presentation.
Linda, this could be an opportunity.
I was thinking the same thing.
You wait till she tells you what she does, okay?
Oh, connections.
I have employment for senior workers, and we have what we call community service slots available that are funded. And the funding starts from the Department of Labor. And we give people, wonderful workers, for 20 hours a week, and they go on our payroll that's paid for through the grant. And if you're a government or not-for-profit, we would just love to have you as a host agency.
Awesome.
You're welcome. I've done, my job is done. In fact, I'm going to leave right now, and you two can talk on the air.
So I will be contacting you, Michelle, and we can talk about more what the program involves. But it is a senior employment program. We do have openings available that we want to put people on, and there are jobs and training opportunities. And also we have our computer training in Westfield, and our peer coach not only helps out in Westfield, but she's been stopping over at the Mayville Library too. And then so we have training and employment services. And I don't want to hold you up. Have a great morning and a great weekend.
Okay, thanks, Linda. Well, watch the rest of the show because she's going to give you some contact information, I'm sure, before we're done, okay?
Okay, break a leg tonight. Or that's not the right word. What's the right word?
Just be really cool like I always am.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Very awesome. Okay, so, and that's what this show is all about, is connecting people, and we do this week in and week out. I don't know how many times people say, you know, I saw your show, and could you do this or do whatever, and so Linda will be in touch, I'm sure. So now let's talk about what it is you actually are representing here, because I promise you just a short period of time, because you're going to come back later on this summer and talk about all the programming you're doing. So first of all, what is it you're in charge of, and what's your title, and all that good stuff?
So basically, it started with myself and my family, my husband and my children, and about 5-6 years ago, and you know, just really seeking God in what our purpose is in our county, in our community, and it just kind of birthed from that in our living room, in our home, talking, praying, meditating, and this vision came with starting with youth, that there's really nothing to do with the youth in the rural area. And then it grew from, well, there's really nothing much to do for the families or the senior citizens. There's just not much to do. So
now, where are you located? Because
we're located.
We got people listening right now.
Okay, so we're located in Sherman at the old Sherman Hotel. Currently, we also have the building, the Sherman Ford Garage, that was donated generously to us. So right now, to get programming started, we are at the hotel and are able to, you know, start. We've had that since November. We started in there just this past November. So it's very new at the hotel, and so we're just kind of getting things going and programming and activities, workshops, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, when I was trying to put together a community center, my vision was no different. It was a multi-generational place to bring 2-year-olds and 102-year-olds together. Is that what you're talking here?
Yeah, and one of our biggest, I think, missions is to bring life skills to our community.
Okay, what do you mean by life skills?
Life skills such as work readiness, budgeting, computer skills for, you know, the elderly.
Linda, are you listening? Okay, got a new site for you.
Yes,
I'm doing her work.
We
here.
welcome all other organizations, and that's another part of it, is bringing, because if you look at the map of Chautauqua County, you have your North and South County, and it's kind of a
there is
right in the social work portion of our county. There's kind of a joke that everybody says, you know, they're from North County, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
North, South County.
You know what I say?
Well,
I'm from the West.
Well, that's what I say.
I got another.
Nobody ever says, I'm from the West.
I always do.
So when everybody's introducing themselves, you know, I say, I'm Michelle Swabik. I'm from the West County.
Do you know this? There's a magazine that comes out every month, and many of my viewers know this. I write a column called From Out of the West.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's in the Silver magazine. There's a little plug for my column, but I've been writing for 9 years now. Because I'm from West County. I'm not north, south, east.
There's
I'm
a
from the west.
whole nother part of the county.
Yeah. People forget about us over here.
Right. So one of the visions is to bring agencies and programming that is in the north and the south, Dunkirk and Jamestown, and shift some of those programs over here that they can also get to those people over here, because it's hard for transportation purposes. It's hard for these people over here to get to those programs.
Now, I don't want to say Sherman's isolated, but it's not on any main 5 and 20, 394. I mean, you got 86 running through there, but that's really sort of like the bottom of the.
Right. I mean, the good news about the west part of the county is
it's
Sherman
awesome.
seems right. Sherman seems to be a hub. When you look at the map, Sherman's in the middle, and then you have Finley Lake, Ripley, Westfield, Mayville, Panama. Clymer.
See, Ripley looks the other way. We think we're the hub, and Sherman is.
But Sherman is centrally located.
It can be.
Hence the reason why they have the crossroads, which is, Sherman to Westfield. So that's, another reason of having it in Sherman. So all of those communities can easily access the center.
So who can access your center?
Anyone.
Yeah. So, for instance, South Ripley. The students go to Sherman, so South Ripley folks could come there. People from Mayville could come in Westfield.
Yeah, anybody. I mean, we had a dance camp with. It was a free camp given to kids ages kindergarten to 8th grade last summer, and we had 36 kids for a whole week, and it was a free dance camp that we offered. And we had a girl come from Frewsburg every single day, Lakewood, Ripley, Sherman, and Mayville.
Well, I'm sitting here, and I can't speak for them, but you need to get a hold of Infinity.
Yes.
They are awesome.
I'd love to connect with them.
Shane Hawkins. 2 magic words, okay? Shane, I know you listen to WRFA all the time. You need to get a hold of Michelle. Thank you. Good people over there, and they're doing some similar things, and so I'm sure the energy, or you talked about grant writing, work together.
Right, and another thing that will be coming up is open mic night. We're going to start offering. We're partnering with Andrew Mitten from Sherman Central School. He's the band teacher, and so we're going to have a talent show held at the center February 25th at 5:30. And then after that, we're going to start on Thursday nights, we're going to start doing an open mic that anybody, youth, older people, anybody that would like to show their talent with music, poetry, things like that, that they can come and explore that.
I have a very dear friend, a different one that I mentioned earlier, down in North Carolina, and I forgot how many he's on now, but he's done like 3,000 open mics over a course of 20 years. That's all he does. He goes to open mic, plays 3 songs, and kind of listens to everybody else, and it's what he does, as opposed to being a full-time musician. I have played open mics, and I'm glad to hear that, because there are very few opportunities for people to come out and play music. And we're all holed up in our houses, we're all playing on our iPads, we're all watching TV or whatever, or watching me. And but it'd be really cool because there's so many people that know how to play instruments that haven't picked them up in years. I'm always encouraging that. So wonderful. That's great.
Yep, so we'll be starting that. We're also looking for knitters, crocheters, anybody that has that skill or would like to know that skill to contact us. And we would like to put a group together that maybe once a month could meet at the center for social purposes. They could knit together, crochet, that kind of thing. And then there's an organization called Knitting for Peace that we would donate the scarves, hats, gloves, that kind of thing to them, and that gets distributed through our county.
Wonderful. You know, I've had the crew from the Veteran Services, and they sometimes are putting together clothing for veterans that need some things. So,
and to say something about the veterans, we are very excited that the Sherman Post, American Legion, Roy Van Valkenburg, he is the commander of that post, and they haven't had a spot for years. A place to meet, and so they reached out to us, and they are going to start meeting every other month. So their next meeting will be March, I think it's the second Thursday of March, the 10th, I think, that they'll start meeting every other month at the center.
Okay, Michelle, you've already shared a ton of stuff here.
I know, there's lots.
No. This is where I'm going with this. Is I've got my listeners on WRFA right now. They're listening Tuesday afternoon. I got people that are watching the show, and they're watch it throughout the week, and they're sitting going like, well, how okay, you said these words, but how do I actually find more information? Do you have a website?
Yes, you can visit us at www.theruralcenter.com.
Okay.
So it's THERURAL center.com.
All one word, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if they just go there, and all these events and dates and times are there.
Yep, we have a really big thing that's coming up very soon. Is we're partnering with the Peak and Peak Resort, and they do their annual chicken wing cook-off, and so with their chicken wing cook-off, they ask for a nonprofit to be a part of that, and they sponsor, and all the proceeds would go to that. So we are very lucky, fortunate, blessed that they've asked us, and so it's March 5th. At the Peak and Peak Resort from 12 to 5 at the Retreat Lodge, which is the last building of the Peak. And there'll be local vendors that have their own, like the French Creek Tavern, I'm sure will be there with their special sauces.
Secret formula.
Yeah, so it's free to get in, but it's $1 a wing.
Okay.
And all the proceeds will go to our center.
That is terrific. That's what you need.
Yes.
You need corporate sponsorship to get off the ground for many of these not-for-profit organizations. It's just a bear to do these sorts of things. So that is just terrific.
Yeah, and we we will be doing March 25th, March 24th. It's called the Spring It On campaign for Western New York, and it's through the United Way of Western New York.
Okay.
And it's a platform for a one-day, 24 hours giving online for a nonprofit. So we will be also with that campaign, and so you can find that also, that campaign, on our website, or you can go to Spring It On Western New York and view us there. We're one of the registered organizations and donate.
Okay, now listen, we need to keep up with you guys, so you need to email me all this stuff and posters and stuff like that, and we'll be happy to share that with folks here, because we have a great viewership over in Sherman. Okay, we're getting down to like a minute and 14, 13, 12 seconds left, so let's give you a little bit of uninterrupted time. What would you like folks to know about it? If you had to do an elevator speech, tell me about the center.
Well, our mission is to support the youth and families of Sherman and the surrounding rural communities, and to really give support and empower them to live healthy lifestyles and to break the cycle of poverty in our area.
And people don't realize that poverty is a major issue in this county. I know at least 3 or 4 school districts that are 60% poverty or more.
Yes.
And I don't know what Sherman's is, and we don't need to talk about that, but I know that it's probably not too far away from that figure. Michelle, you mentioned youth. What's your youngest that you can work with? We work
K through all the way up, but our after-school program will be 5th through pretty much 8th. That's our target population. So it varies.
Okay, we've just about run out of time. See, that went fast. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My two guests were John Paul Wolfe, the curator of the Chautauqua Historical Society, and Michelle Swabik, the executive director of the Rural Center. And you're going to be back, right, this summer?
Absolutely.
All right. So you come back and visit us next week where we'll have another great show for you. I'm Doc Hamels. Have a safe weekend. And get ready for the Winter Festival here in Mayville. See you then. Bye now.
Thank you.
How easy was that?
That was
I'm
easy.
glad you contacted.